We would like to kindly ask for your attention. Regarding V2X, correct information is difficult to be conveyed. Here are the points discussed so far. This time, we will report on the situation as of September 2022 regarding the necessity of V2X, which contributes to reducing traffic accidents and improving environmental conditions. According to statistics of the WHO, more than 1.3 million fatalities have occurred in 2021 worldwide, and between 20 and 50 million more people suffer non-fatal injuries, with many incurring a disability as a result of their injury. But as traffic safety leaders, we must strive for a safer future. We are aiming to realize zero traffic fatalities using both autonomous technologies like AEB, FCW, LKA, and cooperative ITS technologies. The European Commission published preliminary figures on road fatalities for 2021. An estimated 19,900 people were killed in road crashes last year. This was an increase of 1,000 deaths compared to 2020, but is almost 3,000 fewer fatalities than 2019 in the pre-pandemic period. Meanwhile, NHTSA released its early estimate of traffic fatalities for 2021. NHTSA projects that an estimated 42,915 people died in motor vehicle traffic crashes last year, a 10.5% increase from the 38,824 fatalities in 2020. The CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, announced on August 31, 2022, that life expectancy for Americans in 2021 will drop 0.9 years from 77 to 76.1 years, the lowest level since 1996. By race, life expectancy for American Indians or Alaska Natives has fallen 6.6 years over the past 2 years to 65.2 years. That's more than a decade shorter than the average life expectancy in the United States as a whole. The federal government's new comprehensive National Roadway Safety Strategy is a roadmap for addressing the national crisis in roadway fatalities and serious injuries. Almost 95% of the nation's transportation deaths occur on its streets, roads, and highways. The Safe System approach incorporates the following principles. Death and serious injuries are unacceptable. Humans make mistakes. Humans are vulnerable. Responsibility is shared. Safety is proactive. Redundancy is crucial. Unfortunately, this data shows that the fatality ratio of American Indians, Alaska Natives, Black or African Americans is much higher than the rest of the categories. V2X, which has a common standard and language, should greatly contribute to reducing traffic fatalities. A new study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety shows that advanced technologies designed to help drivers navigate intersections could address a third of the crashes that cause older driver injuries and fatalities. Left turn assist and other upcoming intersection assistance technologies could deliver big safety benefits for drivers in their 70s and 80s. The trend of traffic fatalities in Europe is also changing, and the proportion of vulnerable road users involved has been increasing. Under these circumstances, the European Board agreed on a general approach to the revision of the ITS directive proposed to the EC on June 2, 2022. The proposed amendment to ITS directive, submitted in December 2021, aims to take into account technological developments since 2010, such as connectivity and automated mobility, on-demand mobility applications, and multimodal transport. It also aims to enhance the availability and interoperability of the digital data that provides these services. Therefore, it represents an important step in creating a common European mobility data space. Here are the main points to consider. Implementation issues, including the timing and intervals established by the implementation method, the provisional handling of emergencies, personal data issues, principles applicable to specification development, timing of vote, end of updating phase. As a platform of CITS in Europe, activities of C roads are increasing, focusing on hybrid communication, which is a combination of ETSI ITS G5 and operational cellular networks. The following elements are required for communication technology that can be used stably over a long period of time: tested, validated, proven, and interoperable with backward compatibility. C-Roads also continues to strengthen its collaboration with other stakeholders, C2CCC, ASICAP, DATEX2, EU EIP, Polis, among others. In Europe, the adoption of Euro NCAP for V2X is being considered, with the goal of introduction in 2025. Details are to be determined. The content of the Euro NCAP has a large impact, and the NCAPs of the US, Japan, and China tend to follow suit. The updated schedule of V2X in Euro NCAP will be officially announced in November 2022. Application candidates are currently under discussion. The Euro NCAP will also influence the US and Japanese NCAPs. The current accident analysis for both regions has its own characteristics. Through the analysis of traffic fatalities, the necessary V2X applications have been determined and implemented. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, the sales volume of Car2X, V2X in Volkswagen has been increasing since 2020. In 2022, more than 700,000 units with Car2X will be sold. In Japan, Toyota has been selling vehicles equipped with DSRC V2X. Reportedly, the accident reduction effect when turning right is improved by roughly 40%. Furthermore, a new V2V application is being introduced for traffic accident avoidance of emergency vehicles in Japan. However, the 5.9 GHz situation in the US remains unclear. The TRB pointed out several points of C-V2X that need to be improved both technically and physically in their NCHRP report released in November 2021. The speakers are from Center for Connected and Automated Transportation, NHTSA, ITS America, US DOT, ITS JPO, AASHTO, Georgia DOT, General Motors, and Toyota. A lawsuit was filed in the DC court in June 2021 by the ITS America and AASHTO, alleging that the FCC's frequency reassignment proposal was invalid. It stated that it is unconstitutional to stop the partial use of the frequency band and to make a decision by the FCC alone, ignoring the opinion of US DOT, a V2X expert, etc. After questioning both the plaintiff and the defendant, the judgment from the DC court was handed down on August 12th, 1 year and 2 months after the lawsuit was filed. In summary, the complaint alleges that the FCC issued regulations beyond its statutory authority, but the court found that the regulations were issued within the FCC's authority. The transportation petitioners made 5 arguments. However, the court explains there is no reason to conclude that the FCC was arbitrary and capricious for the 5 arguments. Shortly after the judgment, plaintiffs ITS America and AASHTO issued statements. 10 days later, US DOT had a V2X summit in DC and a webinar. In short, it was a summit to consider what can be done with the remaining 30 MHz for V2X. There are uncertainties in politics, technology, and frequencies. The actual verification for PC5 is a future issue, as well as the legal framework and the future of DOT. Many expressed concerns that a roadmap is necessary. As it takes 3 to 5 years for commercialization, original equipment manufacturers have requested that they recognize the need for a preparation period of 3 to 5 years for implementation. However, a fundamental problem remains before the roadmap. The technical definition of C-V2X, the timing of transition from DSRC to C-V2X, and the details of the cost burden associated with frequency changes due to the FCC's circumstances, such as equipment replacement, will be stipulated in the second R&O. Additionally, the second RNO has not yet been issued as of November 2022, after the public comment period. It seems that the content has not yet been decided. Defining V2X technology will be a big problem. So, this is a contradiction, but currently the only technology approved for V2X in the US by the FCC is still DSRC. There are issues regarding SEP and FRAND aka IPR recently. Japanese car giants and Stellantis in Europe will pay patent fees for communication technology related to connected cars that connect to the internet. Avanci, a US company that acts as a window for negotiations with 52 major telecommunications companies, such as Nokia and Qualcomm, has signed a contract with Toyota, among other companies. The contract with Avanci follows European and American manufacturers such as BMW and General Motors, which have already agreed to pay. Avanci is a patent pool that offers paid license agreements for wireless communication patents to car manufacturers. Avanci's strength lies in the fact that companies such as Ericsson and Qualcomm, which have many basic patents in wireless communications, are participating. Avanci is said to cover more than 70% of 4G patents. In the future, connected cars will need to support 5G. Therefore, apart from paying related comprehensive patent royalties from 2G to 4G of $15 to $20 per car, it is highly likely that the burden of patent fees for 5G will be newly added. Therefore, a major issue for car manufacturers will be whether they can provide attractive cars that sufficiently absorb the burden of patent fees. V2X uses different communication technologies to take advantage of their characteristics. It is called hybrid communication in Europe. For short distances within 300 meters, ITS G5 or DSRC, which has an established technology, and cellular technology is used for V2N when exchanging large amounts of data regardless of the delay. However, the problem with cellular technology is that it is impossible to communicate with new generations on the same frequency band. 2G and 3G are still left for eCall in Europe, although 2G and 3G cannot communicate with LTE. And the next generation 5G NR V2X, which is an evolutionary system of 4G LTE V2X, cannot communicate with LTE V2X. This is a fundamental problem and one of the reasons why cellular cannot be used for safety applications. It is not enough to simply assign frequencies. Failure to consider interference, power output, the direction of radiation, etc., may lead to catastrophes. So the frequency allocation organization is required to thoroughly consider and make a comprehensive judgment. Since 2015, the FAA has been skeptical that signals from new mobile communications systems could interfere with decades-old aviation equipment. 27 EU countries allocated 3.4 to 3.8 GHz to cellular in 2019 without any problem due to adequate prevention of interference, area, power, antenna angles, etc. The 5G NR standard, which is an evolution of LTE as a cellular communication technology, is scheduled to be decided in December 2023 by 3GPP Release 18. However, as explained, communication with LTE is not included in this standard. On the other hand, for NGV and DSRC+, which are compatible with DSRC, the final IEEE 802.11bd standard is expected to be decided in December 2022. SAE published SAE J3161 standard for LTE vehicle-to-everything on April 25, 2022. This standard describes a reference system architecture based on LTE V2X technology defined in 3GPP Release 14. The audience for this document includes the developers of applications and application specifications, as well as those interested in LTE V2X system architecture, testing, and certification. V2X uses broadband communication with DSRC, which is different from cellular phone technology that confirms reception from the other party before calling. However, cellular proponents created the SAE J3161 standard as close as possible to the parameters of DSRC in order to achieve the same performance as DSRC communications. Furthermore, the real problem is that the life cycle of vehicles is said to be 12 to 15 years, and it will take at least twice as many years to install the same device in every car, depending on the numbers of unit in operation. On the other hand, cellular standards and equipment are designed to change every 2 to 3 years, and backward compatibility with past generations is not considered. Another fact is that DSRC can use 10 MHz for one channel, and LTE V2X has to use 20 MHz for one channel. In addition, due to the impact of drastically increasing fees requested from IPR holders, there will be a significant increase in expenses in the future. The following is a brief explanation of the LTE V2X standard based on SAE J3161. Blind HARC retransmissions in LTE V2X PC5 Mode 4 based on SAE J3161. The logic of SAE J3161 is that each message is transmitted twice without HARC acknowledgement or non-acknowledgement feedback to improve reliability and mitigate persistent packet loss. However, HARC retransmission uses double the resources. It also reduces spectral efficiency. Additionally, there is still a high risk that collisions cannot be avoided with only 2 transmissions. Accordingly, interleaving of one-shot transmissions and SPS to mitigate persistent packet collisions will be added. The number of SPS transmissions between 2 consecutive one-shot transmissions is selected within a range in a uniform random manner for every one-shot transmission. The resource of one-shot transmission is determined based on channel sensing and resource selection procedure in PC5 Mode 4. This mitigates consecutive packet collisions. However, there is still a possibility that one-shot transmissions collide with other user equipment and radio transmission. For safety purposes, below are the points of LTE V2X to be considered. Non-interoperability with technologies in the future which do not have backward compatibility. 20 MHz must be required for one channel, which has resources double that of DSRC. It must be validated. Persistent packet collisions. Persistent half-duplex. Persistent near-far. To solve these fundamental problems, a solution was adopted by operating and changing the parameters in SAE J3161/1. However, it is necessary to verify that LTE V2X can be used safely through large-scale demonstration experiments. As previously mentioned, US DOT is planning further analysis of C-V2X and the next steps including the roadmap after the V2X summit. While the same discussion for C-V2X as at the beginning of the DSRC discussion would be done, OEMs need 3 to 5 years to prepare for commercialization. It is essential that all participants are able to communicate in a common language, have a common standard, and use established technology under the initiative of the government. As discussed at the ITS World Congress LA 2022, the functions explained in Europe regarding the relationship of trust among OEMs, regulators, and the infrastructure side, as well as the commitment to progress in this trilateral collaboration, may also be the direction that the US is heading. As numbers of vulnerable road users are increasing in the US, there is an urgent need to respond to safety, but unfortunately, the current situation is stagnating. In Europe, by the end of 2023, the German Federal Autobahn will equip all mobile safety trailers of the Motorway Maintenance Service with a new digital communication system. The CITS system provides early and reliable warning of daily roadworks to connected vehicles. Today, CITS services are already available in Europe for over 1 million specific vehicle models via direct wireless LAN communications or ETSI ITS G5. We would like to realize further safety with V2X technology that complements the safety of autonomous and automated driving. Let's work together to promote V2X in order to reduce traffic accidents, alleviate traffic congestion, improve environmental conditions, and realize automated driving in the future.